Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. This is going to be what if Goku and Vegeta were born as fusions. Goku being Gogeta, Vegeta being Vegeta. Before we begin, if you have anything to do, such as chores, gaming, even if it's just like clean up your room a little bit, do that while you listen to me talk. I do talk fast, so you may want to reduce the playback speed a little bit to maybe around 0.75 if I really do go too fast. Alright, now let's go. Goku is Gogeta, Vegeta is Vegeto, and in this one, Vegeto and Gogeta are born in the year 732. Both of them. So they're around, well, Gogeta is around 5 years older. But the thing is, these two are not traditional Saiyans. You guys want to know what I mean? They're bigger, they're faster, they're basically not really traditional humans, or not humans, traditional mortals. They age even slower, they act different. Being that they grow to hot sizes that mortals do not go to. Broly, he gets bigger because of his transformation. These two are just born supernaturally big. Their size, they're so untraditional, they're born without tails. Everything about them is just absurd. The point where Vegeta and Gogeta are both born in power level roughly around 40,000. Vegeta being at 42, Gogeta around 40. So, yeah. So they're just absurdly everything. So with this, the king actually would allow Gogeta to stay because his son, Vegeta, was born stronger, as they started, end the naming scheme. Because King Vegeta's wife is not really fond of having another Vegeta around, so Vegeta is his name. And Bardock and Gine had their son, Gogeta. They just think it's a cool name. And Gogeta is their firstborn, not Raditz. So yeah. And this one, when Broly's born a few months later, 10,000 doesn't mean shit to them. Quite literally, there's two Saiyans wandering around who are much stronger. And plus, because they're not traditional mortals, they don't really need to learn how to talk or think, anything like that. They're already able to do it within weeks. They grow very fast because they are not mortals. At least, not traditional. They're kind of I was facing a lot of Namekians. I was wondering why they're like that. Because Namekians, if you put out an egg, like Piccolo was out of an egg and could walk, think, and talk immediately. That's how these two work. Fresh out of the womb, they can walk, talk, and think. So they're just very different kind of creatures. And if you're wondering about the Potara earrings, no, Vegito does not have Potara. He has earrings that are told to resemble earrings of gods. And his ego wanted them. So, yeah. So as I grow up, Bardock's actually put in charge, his squad is put in charge of actually training Gogeta, Vegito, and Broly. Because those are the three strongest Saiyans on the planet. And he would do that willingly. And eventually Raditz is born, and Nappa's put on the squad as kind of like the babysitter to Vegito, and then Raditz is just Bardock's son, so, yeah. But Raditz kind of grows up with a grudge against his older brother because him and Vegito are the pride of the planet Vegeta, and he's just a low-class Saiyan. He grows up hating his older brother with a passion because he can never be him. But eventually we go on to about 5 years later, when it comes down to year 737 and planet Vegeta is destroyed. When it's destroyed, in this one, everyone is off planet, including, not everyone, but Goku, Vegeta, or Gogeta, Vegito, and Broly. And Raditz and Nappa, of course. Gogeta is off on his own mission, as the squad that consists of the trio plus Nappa and Raditz. They all kind of get their own missions because they're power levels, but Nappa and Raditz are usually stuck with one of the three, one of the stronger three. At this point, Gogeta and Vegito are roughly in the range of, Ginyu already, so they're probably about as strong as Ginyu is. Excuse me. But Gogeta and Vegito excel in different places. Vegito excels with ki and overall battle planning, while Gogeta excels with on-the-fly thinking and martial arts, to the point where, even on planet Vegeta, his martial arts skill is unrivaled because he reinvented their entire martial arts system in his head and he mastered it. You heard that right? He reinvented a whole martial art in his head and mastered it. It's that easy. Plus, he goes around the galaxy fighting different species just because he knows their martial arts and wants to experience it. And because of Vegeta's mind being in there, when it comes to copying martial arts, a lot like Goku can, his copy is how he has so many martial arts. He just copies so many different ways of fighting. So, yeah. So he's basically the martial arts prodigy, Vegito is the ki prodigy, all that. And he has copied ki attack before. In fact, he can basically do everything that Bardock, Raditz, King Vegeta, Broly, Gogeta, Name a warrior that he's likely seen fighting. He can do all their techniques and then some. Like he even has a death beam. So yeah, and Frieza is definitely scared of Gogeta, Broly, and Vegeta. But yeah, so Vegeta's off planet because he was just told to survey a planet they wiped out. That would later become Frieza Planet 448. He's basically setting up a Frieza planet. Broly is actually surveying a planet they recently destroyed, that being Planet Cereal. And Vegito is with Nappa and Raditz, basically told to wipe out another planet. So he's doing that right now. He can get it done alone, but Frieza sent him with two other Saiyans because they had nothing better to do. Now, eventually Broly, Vegito, and Gogeta all receive messages along the lines of like, Planet Vegeta has been destroyed. Like Bardock is on planet, he sent a message to Gogeta first telling him, hey, the planet's gone. And he tells him like, hey, Frieza's attacking us, I'm not sure if we'll make it out, escape the Frieza Force. Vegeta immediately crushed the scouter, and the Frieza Force soldiers didn't pick it up because they're not surveying the scouters. They're attacking the planet. They're all turned into one frequency so they can coordinate an attack. So with this, Gogeta would destroy the scouter and then throw his pod into the sun because he can probably do that. It's probably wouldn't be that hard. Broly receives a similar message from Paragus and does the same thing as Gogeta, destroying his scouter, throwing his pod into the sun. And Monito and Granola see him do this. They see him abandon the Frieza Force right then and there. Then that immediately changes Granola's perspective on Saiyans, as this one's a child and already just disobeying the Force. But when it comes to Vegito, his scouter's off, and Raditz is the one who gets it. Raditz is the one who hears it. So the meteor story, Raditz spins that. It was a message from King Vegeta. So with this, when Raditz heard it, instead he just told Vegito, Nappa, and like everyone else around him, like, a meteor hit planet Vegeta. His resentment for everyone around him is so high, he didn't even tell them Frieza was their planet. He just said, a meteor hit it. Now, they already knew that Gogeta and Broly were off planet, but to their shock when they returned, they're told they abandoned the Force. Vegito just thinks they left because they had the opportunity to do so, which he understands. He would have done the same. But he kind of feels like he didn't get a message from them. Like he feels resentment that he didn't get told. Like his friends didn't, like his brothers didn't tell him we're leaving the Frieza Force. So now we have one of the more powerful beings in the Frieza Force harboring resentment towards his own brothers. Not a lot. Like he still has the Goku compassion, but the Vegeta side of him is just actually like very upset still, like he was abandoned. Raditz has been feeling that his whole life, and Nappa simply does not care. He bought what Raditz said. But Vegeta here is kind of feeling that Frieza destroyed it and just said it was a meteor, and Raditz believed it. Because Frieza seems a little too smug about Planet Vegeta being gone. So now his resentment's a little bit toned down because he believes a whole different story now. But for Gogeta, what he did his way to escape is that he would basically steal a Frieza Force pod that has not been fully made yet. He literally just flew it, and then it hasn't really been fully put together yet, so it kind of just crashed on Earth, and he didn't really mind that. Meanwhile, Broly was wandering around, and Monito and Granola confront him, asking him what he was doing, like why he left, or like why he abandoned the Frieza Force. Like they watched him do it. He tells them what happened, and immediately Monito felt bad, as this boy was left on the planet, and for all he knows, he's the last one left. So with this, Monito actually asked the boy if he would like a way to just like, do you want to seek asylum here? Broly says no, as he understands the Saiyans are bad people. Like, I cannot stay here after what people have done to your planet, but if you can get me away from the Frieza Force, I'll gladly do so. So with this, Monito grab the two Dragon Balls on planet Cereal, summon Trombo, and ask him, like, get Broly away from Frieza Force. And who's better than the Galactic Patrol to get him away from Frieza Force? So Broly is brought to the Galactic Patrol and recruited because, Trombo sent him there, tell them like what happened, and then vanish. Because it kind of would be weird to drop a Saiyan in the middle of a battlefield, or not battlefield, but in the middle of like someone who would want Saiyan's dead. So he has to explain to them what happened. So with this, he summoned right in front of Jocko and the Galactic Patrol recruiter, a random one. And with this, they recruit Broly. But how strong he is, though, they don't really have anyone who would be a solid partner for him because he can probably overpower anyone. So with that, his partner and teacher is Miris. See that right? Miris is the teacher for Broly. And Miris is our most effective worker aside from Jocko. Pause. Okay, so from what I know about Jocko, he's definitely still a member of the Galactic Patrol, and the Galactic Patrol is kind of like the rival of the Frieza Force, kind of. So if Jocko's like one of their, if you want to assume he's one of their top soldiers, his power level must be around like able to contend bare minimum Goldo. So probably around 10 to 15,000 where Jocko stands, and Broly is roughly around the level of like 50,000. So yeah, Jocko would not be one to take care of him. It would be Miras, who's an angel. No one knows that, but they know that Miras is probably your strongest soldier. So yeah. So with this, we go on and we get to Gogeta on Earth, where he's met with Grandpa Gohan. Grandpa Gohan would be to raise Gogeta, and Gogeta would actually begin putting together the Frieza Force ship himself, because it's somewhere to train. Most Frieza Force ships this big have a training area, so he just needs to fix it up so it can be trained, or it can be made to train. Meanwhile, like Patrol, they overheard or got some notice that, hey, destroyed Frieza Force ship was heading to Earth. Now, Broly just says that he can go with them to make sure, he might know who it is, as it could be a Saiyan. But with this Broly, Miras, and Jocko head to Earth, and when they get there to where the pod is, they're met by Gogeta eating food with Grandpa Gohan in front of the pod. And Broly, Gogeta, and Vegeta all refer to each other as, Big Bro, because Vegeta is the oldest, but they're also, all massive, so it's kind of just funny, they're all just really big for their age, so Big Bro fits. So Broly calls Vegeta, or Gogeta, Big Bro, they hug, and eventually Gogeta explains what happened to him on his end. But he says he didn't really get any news of Vegeta leaving his squad. If anything, he actually got news that they're still on the mission. Well, that they realize that Vegeta is still part of the Frieza Force right now. He may not have gotten a message. Which they find it hard to believe that he would have got a message from at least his father. So with this, they kind of think that his scouter may not have been on, and the message may have fallen upon deaf ears, assuming he didn't get to hear it. And they don't really suspect Raditz. He's always he's Gogeta. That's his little brother. He has faith that he's not a bad person. So yeah. But Jocko also can kind of use they said there's some way for him to find palatable of Gogeta. He's like, all right, well, you're definitely terrifying, and I will not try to intimidate you. So I will ask that you please do not destroy this planet. Gogeta says he hasn't destroyed a planet ever. He's kind of just been the one to survey them to see if they're worthy of destroying, and so far, Earth is kind of just trash. The Frieza Force has no reason to be near it. He just shrugs. We go on and says, hurtful but understandable, considering how strong you seem to be. So yeah. Now, Kami actually come down to this because Gogeta's strong as shit. So why wouldn't he? Came down, started introducing himself to everyone, and talking about something about what's going on in the Nubra area, what's going on about everything, basically. And eventually, Kami is told, if you're a Guardian of Earth, I don't mind. You're the Guardian of Earth, just make sure that he's in check. Also, how did the Namekian get to Earth? Jocko's question is that, how did the Namekian get to Earth? Kami's confused on what a Namekian is, and he's told pretty quickly. So now Kami learns early on what a Namekian is, because Vegeta's presence kind of required the utmost attention. So with this, eventually it goes on to, so basically, Gogeta being told, if you need to train somewhere, you can come to my lookout. Gogeta said he doesn't really need anywhere to train. His ship should have everything he needs, as he kind of just holds it up above his head. And Jocko says, oh, we can just repair it for you, what do you want done to it? He's I kind of just want to train in it because it has really high power gravity training. Not gravity training, but gravity control, basically, to be accustomed to certain planets. So with that, the Galactic Patrol to take the ship, Broly and Gogeta hug, say goodbye, Kami's to lookout, all that. Now for the next few years, Gogeta would train up with Gohan, or down with Gohan, and up on the lookout from the time, even going to Roshi if he needed to. As he's met Korin, he's met Roshi, he's met Ox King, and Chi-Chi, his daughter, and they're more like friends instead of dating, because Gogeta at this point is not 5, but over the time he's met Chi-Chi when she was born, all that. Now, he's also met the Breeze family because Jocko introduced him after, hey, you guys may want to know about the ship in case you see it flying around and you get confused or concerned. But he met their daughter, Bolchi. Yes, Bolchi. Not Bulma, Bolchi. That's just a unique name for her. It's a fusion name between Chi-Chi and Bulma. So Bolchi and Gogeta meet. They're pretty cool with each other, and they're the same age. So with that, they also get to learn. Actually, no, well, Bulma's actually a year younger than Vegeta, but he's a year older than her. But they meet when he's about 10. She's about 9. But let's say about a year before the story begins. So year 730, not 736. So it would be 735, I believe, or 745, or 745, I believe that. So in that year, it turns out that Bulchi would arrive, and she would ask Gogeta to help her find something. She learned about the Dragon Balls, and she knows that Gohan has one. She's been to Gohan's house. So they end up talking to Gohan. He gives her and Gogeta Dragon Balls, and they decide to head to Roshi's. Gogeta knows Roshi has one. They flew over to Roshi's house with Gogeta having Bulchi on his back. And at this point, he's actually a pretty big person, about like 6 foot. So yeah, he grows a lot faster than most Saiyans do. As Broly at this point is probably around the same size as is Vegeta. So then we getting to Kame house. Roshi gives him Dragon Ball, already knowing like he should not test Gogeta. He surpassed him. He was like 8. So in terms of skill, that is. But yeah. But Gogeta's probably the most complete fighter ever. He knows over 100 martial arts. His battle IQ is insanely high, the point where basically he's unrivaled on Earth in terms of skill alone. And like if you want to give everyone equal stats, Gogeta's probably still beat them alone. His skill is just that high. So yeah. But his battle power at this point is roughly around like 400,000. So yeah. But yeah, so Bulchi and Gogeta from the Dragon Balls about a year early because Bulchi discovered them and immediately wanted to find them, and she knew Gogeta would help her. So they get all the Dragon Balls pretty quickly, and the Pilaf gang didn't even have one yet. Plus they met Oolong, all them. The only one they haven't met yet is Yamcha. That's about it. So with this, they summon Shenron, and Bulma would wish for the infinite, like, strawberries. So, yeah. Well, to make it more specific, she wishes for a garden to grow infinite strawberries. Like, she doesn't even plant them, it just grows infinite strawberries. Grows infinite strawberries over time. So, yeah. But with this, we have the next year, and Gogeta spends it traveling the world. And Bulchi accompanies him because she has nothing better to do this year. And with that, basically it results in her and him traveling the world training. He's 17, she's 16, and yeah. This is how they also meet Yamcha. This one, Bulchi he's very much stronger than Yamcha is by a long shot, so when it comes down to like him trying to rob them, she literally just gives him like the meanest right hook, and that ends the fight. At this point, Bulchi is probably roughly around 200. So, yeah. So there's definitely a big gap between her and Gogeta, but even then, she's one of the strongest people on Earth. By the way, with how much Gogeta trains with Kami's lookout as well, Kami's definitely much stronger himself, as he will upgrade the Dragon Balls and will look out for a little bit. Dragon Balls can grant 3 wishes now, but their power is roughly the same. He can do more, but not a big change in power. So, yeah. And the Time Chamber is a bit bigger, so it can fit more than 2 people in. About 4 or 5. But Gogeta and Vegeta all age slowly. Vegeta basically does not age. Like, it takes him. It would take him the fact that he's a Potara fusion, and which is meant for Kais, he'd age like a Kai. With that, his aging will basically take him he can live millions of years. And then Gogeta can as well, because his fusion is supernatural. Supernatural entities like King Kai, King Kai's actually a deity, King Yemma. We have a good idea. King Yemma's basically been there since the beginning of time. So he basically age a lot like demons, ogres, onis, the devil himself, King Yemma. So he would age very slowly. In fact, he may not age in general, because they're not really traditional mortals. They're basically half mortal, half whatever else. So yeah. But they can eventually die. It would just take millions. It would take eons for them to die of old age. And Bulchi, probably not. I was going to say she would probably. I like compare her to Krayal, where she's basically a superhuman, and it would take her like a few hundred years to die. And then when it comes down to their kids, who will also be eventually fusions, it would also take them probably tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of years. Gogeta's basically the only truly immortal one among his future family. Same for Vegeta. Okay. Now, pause real quick. Okay. So, with this, it goes on into just Yamcha traveling the world with Gogeta and Bulchi, and Oolong lives with Roshi, because he met them last year, so, yeah. But eventually, by the time, they get done with all their training, and they basically make it to the end of, to the next tournament, basically, because, well, I would say Yamcha going to train with Roshi, and Bulchi heading off to school. Vegeta probably tells them where to find, if you ever outgrow Roshi, or, you want to get trained with someone else who isn't me, he tells them where to find Korin, and then how to get the Kami, as they both learn how to fly. Or he basically gave them the basics of ki, and then they learn how to fly on their own. So, if we eventually learn how to fly properly, fly around basically above the clouds, find the world, to go find the Kami's lookout. So, yeah. Pause real quick. Okay. So, well, for this year that Gogeta would have to train for the tournament, I don't want to train for the tournament. I'd probably see him hearing about it after visiting Yamcha and Roshi, where he also would meet Krillin. I can probably see Gohan moving here too, because he's used to being with someone, and Gogeta left the nest, so probably move in with Roshi. So, I can probably see the fact that, I can probably see Gohan trying to straighten up Roshi and Krillin, because he just moved in, because he just doesn't want to be alone, but also Roshi's I have another old guy keeping company. Not too bad. Also, Launch is here. I should also include her in my list of Z fighters. She will be important later. Okay. So with this, we move on until we get to the tournament. And here, Gogeta even, he expresses his power as much as he can. He learned sense ki, all of that. He learned that, in space. He expresses his power to the maximum. Even Kami's with him, how he senses ki, he's basically probably an average human. He even expresses his strength, all of that. He's going to rely on pure skill. And Roshi isn't even he knows Gogeta's going to be here, and he knows Gogeta's basically future martial arts. He knows how much potential he has as a martial artist. So Roshi shows up here as Muten Roshi. And Gohan shows up himself as, a son Gohan. Ox King is here as well, because Roshi invited him, and Ox King is here as well. So there's more participants as well. Now, Yamcha is knocked out by Gohan, Krillin is knocked out by Ox King, and then Gogeta would knock out Roshi, surprisingly to everyone. He knocks out Roshi, and even Kami's I knew he was skilled, but I didn't realize he was that skilled to knock out Roshi with just pure skill. It was a tough fight, but he still did it. The finals end up with Ox King and Gogeta being the final contestants. Ox King goes in for a punch, only for Gogeta to run up his fist and hit him with a bicycle kick for executing his Punisher Drive. Punisher Drive consists, I believe, of he would slide forward, or using rapid move. Then he would use rapid movement. Kind of like teleportation. It's kind of weird, but slide, rapid movement, and then while you can't really see him, he attacks you rapidly. And then while he's basically still just unable to be seen, he would basically just do the rapid blows, kind of like that. As he's Ox King with it, he's suppressed, so he's kind of visible, but even then, he's still just too fast. Which the Ox King is kind of stumbling and wobbling. And Gogeta just ends it all with a quick 1-inch punch with the very signature kind of like Bruce Lee Ki or yell. And it sends Ox King flying out of bounds. And Gogeta is crowned basically the martial artist of the world because he beat Muten Roshi and Ox King. So at this point, he kind of achieves a status like Mr. Satan. It's kind of what he is now. So yeah. And then after this, he eventually would discover, not discover, he wants to grab the Dragon Balls, and Kami simply tells him, you can, there's a few Dragon Balls available, but there's bad guys getting the Dragon Balls. So Vegeta would simply just ask Bulchi and Yamcha and Krillin for help to get the Dragon Balls. He says he can probably get them himself, but he also just has other things to do, but like training. And Bulchi is free, so she says sure. And then Yamcha says he could use a break from Roshi and Gohan and Krillin, so he'll do it as well. So him and Poir set off to go get the Dragon Balls as well. They're both able to fly now. Bulchi and Yamcha. And the thing is, within about 3 days, they get all the Dragon Balls. It wasn't that hard. Bulchi has Dragon Radar, Yamcha and Gogeta can sense ki. So they pretty quickly get all the Dragon Balls. And even can go off, when they were looking for the Dragon Balls, even Kami was they're my creations, I know where they are. And he just told them where the Dragon Ball was with Pilaf. So, yeah. Pilaf hasn't even met them. He probably wouldn't even use a Dragon Ball radar-proof container. He doesn't even know it exists. Well, it'd probably be out in the open. So the Dragon Radar probably would have still detect it. Bulchi finds it, beats them, takes it. Easy. So they're going to Dragon Balls in 3 days. Kami just asked him to do it, so he did so. And they tried to keep the Dragon Balls on Kami's lookout because they're safer there. And here, when it came down to Top Pai Pai, Gogeta already sensed that Bora, Oompa, and Core and Tower were met with like someone malicious. So he arrived and fought Tao Pai Pai pretty easily, actually. Tao knew who he was because he's basically the very smart person in the world, and proceeded to basically dog Tao within seconds. Like, Tao died because how hard he was being hit. This Gogeta is definitely a more merciless version. Like, he does, like, he'll kill you if you deserve it. Other than that, he wouldn't really kill you. If it's someone like, let's say, like Tao killed hundreds of people probably, so he wouldn't hesitate killing him. Someone like Tien, who would probably kill Gogeta. Gogeta would probably wouldn't kill him because he's not that bad of a person. Like, he's a dickhead. Sure, he wouldn't kill you though. Or the androids. If you knew their backstory, he would not kill them. He would not care. He would basically, I'll knock you out. I'll knock you out and imprison you. Easy as that. It kind of depends on who you are and what he knows about you. But Tao, from what he can tell and what he does, he's going to kill him. Bora and Oompa are alive, by the way. He got to them. Because he hasn't been able to do for 3 years, he decides to train Oompa because he has a bond with the kid. So Oompa, so he trains him. So he trains Oompa for a little bit until eventually it's the next tournament, and he goes there and shows up, and everyone's cheering for him because he's basically their champion. So here, even Roshi and Ox King and Gohan show up again, a little bit stronger. Even Roshi had like bulked up a little bit in terms of just like mass, because he's working pretty hard with Yamcha and Krillin. Even Gohan still kind of looks the same, but his skills have definitely been refreshed. Basically, everyone around here except for Gogeta is around the range of 150 to 300. And then Gogeta himself, Earth isn't really that strong, so from 40,000 at 16, he probably went up to about 500 to 600,000. I'll go 600,000. Alright. Oh, for the tournament, Gogeta is pretty easily still dogging everyone by even like, so he still suppresses himself and he still dogs everyone with really minimal effort. He is just that skilled. Final fight this time is actually him versus Roshi. And as they fight, Roshi tries to use Kamehameha. Gogeta actually just holds out his hand and he's pushing, like, he catches the Kamehameha and he's pushing it back against Roshi. Like, he's like, heavily pushes something and his Kamehameha, he's like walking forward, pushing the Kamehameha back. Roshi tries to execute more output, but Gogeta continues to just push it against Roshi, until he just throws it into Roshi's chest and knocks him out. With that, he won the tournament, but his hand is kind of burned from the Kamehameha. And she pretty quickly just gets healed. So, yeah. Now, with Krillin, when he's about to kill by Tambourine, he is saved by Bolchi. She says he was in trouble, arrived, and beat Tambourine for him. In this one, I don't see him being a strong Tambourine, but he definitely wouldn't have died from him. Like, he would have been badly injured, but he wouldn't have died. Bolchi saved him because she could sense something was off with Krillin, or around him. This one, that he arrives what's going on. Kami ends up telling them what's going on with Demon King Piccolo, so they set out to go find him. Gogeta found him first with Shenron, and when he tried to kill Shenron, he would jump in the way, taking the attack to the chest. Then he proceeds to hit him with the invisible eye blast and incapacitates him. With that, he would land, and he's hesitating to, like, what he should do with him. He could probably seal him, sure. But as he thinks about this, he will get up and spit out an egg, knowing this egg could surpass him. But pretty quickly, he would just jump up in the air and catch the egg. It's not that hard for him to do. He's big, he's strong, and he's fast. So, it wouldn't be hard for him to catch the egg in midair. And his kids are pretty easily taken down. Like Drum is still eaten by, Symbol is eaten by Yajirobe. Everyone else is pretty easily handled by the Z Fighters. Comes to the egg, Kami wants to seal it, but Gogeta has another idea, saying, "Why don't you just raise it?" And he's like, "What do you mean? He's an incarnation of evil." He's like, "Not really. He's you." He's like, "Came out of your evil half, sure, but evil is kind of taught." I was like, "No, he's just like, this is incarnation of my evil." He's like, "This is the son of your evil. Use the Dragon Balls. Like, you have the Dragon Balls, make him not evil." Like, Gogeta offered up so many suggestions, where Kami's like, fine, I got it. So he would basically use Dragon Balls, use Shenron to basically take the evil out of the egg. Second wish, hatch the egg. Third wish, I don't know, fucking make Oopa's tribe thrive, I guess. Who cares? This Piccolo is now erased by Kami, and the evil is taken out of him by Shenron. He basically is Kami again, but not evil, but basically take out King Piccolo's evil. So now he has the morals of the average human. Alright. Now we enter 3 years for the next tournament, and Gogeta here is basically relishing the fame, cashing it in, all of that. Basically, like I said before, he's like Mr. Satan. It's just he's not a fraud. Mr. Satan isn't a fraud either, but he has the Z Fighters on Earth, which kind of makes him a fraud. Like, if the Z Fighters didn't exist, he would not be a fraud. It's as easy as that. But he's basically Mr. Satan with the power to back it up. So yeah, at this point he also did dating Bolchi, and they ended up having a son named Goten. Guess you're right, Goten. Goten and Gohan combined. So yeah, hold up. That'd be kind of what they look like if they were grown up. So yeah, kind of like Gogeta with Goten's hairstyle, but also a mixture of Gohan's. But yeah. Now, he should have blue and black hair, but Gogeta's genes are more dominant, plus Bolchi has blue and black hair, so that kind of takes over. Or takes predominance. Broly did come to Earth a little bit to, just congratulate his brother having a son, all that. And Broly actually is currently the strongest of his siblings because he's training with an angel 24/7. Nurses had not granted him God Ki yet, but basically he's making sure Broly doesn't get it yet because he doesn't think Broly's stable enough to achieve it. But Broly is still definitely able to he's able to power up into Ozaru Wrath, all of that. Even Gogeta's learning about that right now. As Broly told him about it, now he's trying to tap into it. As yes, even though they weren't born with tails, they probably still tap into it. In fact, they still have Saiyan DNA. They just don't look like you. They don't. They're Saiyans, but not. So yeah. Now for the next tournament, Goten's in the crowd watching, as he's at this point 2 years old, and he was born when Gogeta was... So, he's 17, he was 20. It's another 3 years. He's 20. He's born when he was 21, and Bolchi was 20. So, yeah. So he's watching his father fight in the tournament, and he's pretty quickly just realizing his father is strong as shit, because he's watching the entire tournament by himself. Even Bolchi's she's in the tournament, and he still beat her pretty easily. Chi-Chi's also in the tournament as a Z fighter, and she also lost, but to Bolchi. Even by the end, Gogeta had a good idea of well, why does everyone just jump me? And they did that, and they still dogged them with minimal effort. So, yeah. Well, Tien's still a Z fighter, which Chaozu, was not important to the King Piccolo saga. And Piccolo was still here, by the way. And Kami actually does view Piccolo as his son now, because after some time with him, he's like, alright, you're actually a decent person, and you're kind of like me, but... You're me, but not evil. It's kind of how he views him. And you're realizing that, Piccolo could probably be a good successor because he has the morality of humans and understands them, but also he has the Kami knowledge as well. So he basically be the perfect guardian. He knows about human imperfection. So with this, we move on to basically the 3-4 years of peace. I think it's 3. Actually, no, it's 4. Never mind, because Gohan's 4 years old, and when Raditz arrives. But we're going to go on to in space with Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz. He had basically replaced the Ginyu Force, so he had surpassed Ginyu a long time ago. In terms of power level, Broly is definitely the highest. Vegeta at this point is roughly around equal to second form Frieza. Actually, pause. He's basically as strong as second form Frieza. So, yeah. That's the giant one with horns that looks like King Cold. He's as strong as that. And then Gogeta's roughly on the same level. Broly at this point has surpassed Frieza entirely. His base power level. Broly still has his potential, but it's being constantly unlocked and honed by Mirrors. He's in base, he'd probably contend 100% Frieza, and then with Ozaru Wrath, he'd kill him. So it's kind of that easy for him. But Broly's leagues above his brothers. And because Vegeta replaced Ginyu in the Ginyu Force, he also had to train up Red Nappa and Raditz to earn their place in his force. So they're both roughly around the range of 40 to 50,000. Nappa at 50,000, and Raditz at 40,000. So, yeah. So when Raditz arrived, the Z Fighters are definitely very strong. The strongest of them, obviously Gogeta, but then we would have the strongest, not non-Gogeta, is Piccolo, and then below him is Tien. Then below him, Yamcha, then Bolchi, then Krillin. And then below Bolchi would be Chi-Chi, and then Krillin. Krillin's kind of the weakest one right now. Not counting Chaozu. Chaozu's kind of there, but yeah, still. But they're all roughly in the range, like Gogeta around second form. Frieza's around like a power level of like 1 million. Then below him is Piccolo, who's around 20,000. Then below that, it'd be basically everyone else in the range of like 1,000 to about 8 to 9,000. When Raditz arrives, he's definitely the strongest one there, aside from Gogeta, who's suppressing himself to be around the same level as Raditz. When he says Raditz, they were talking, and when I started like realizing that Gogeta's like doesn't have an issue with him, he's still mad because like Raditz is the only friend is Nappa and Vegito. Vegeta's life is going so well, and Raditz is still under the Frieza Force. Even though he knows it's his fault, he just can't help it. He's just jealous. So with this, it basically ends up with Raditz being so mad at his brother's perfect life. He goes on a rant about he's the one who made sure they were still in the Frieza Force, and he's mad about it. He tells him every gripe he has with his brother. Then eventually it leads into him revealing that he lied about a meteor to Vegito and Nappa, making it seem like they just got out by like meteor, and when it was Frieza, and he knew it. Gogeta and Nappa overheard this and immediately just tuned into a different channel to avoid what Gogeta was going to do to Raditz. They knew he was not going to live. Gogeta heard this, and Raditz is like, oh what, you mad or something? But immediately Gogeta just walked over Raditz, hugged him, apologized for making him feel this way, which made Raditz confused. Until Gogeta just squeezed, and everyone overheard a very loud crack, and Raditz just went limp. Yeah, you heard that right, Gogeta killed Raditz. With a hug. So with this, Gogeta basically kind of understands that he hurt Raditz by just existing, and he didn't mean to. But he let Raditz go as Bolchi covered Goten's eyes. Goten's like 7 at this point, I believe. But even then, Gogeta kind of felt badly that he had to kill his brother. With this, he pulled up the scouter, turned it to dust with just like his key alone. And then he would just bury Raditz. So yeah, so Gogeta's going to deal with some turmoil of having to kill his own brother, and him kind of feeling at fault for it. But then we go on to about a year later, when Gogeta would reunite with Vegito and Nappa. But during that 1 year, at this point, Upa is about like, he was like 5 when Goku was, I think, 11 or 12, so he's like 6-ish years younger. I'd go 6 years younger, but then he'd be 11 years younger. So hold up. All right, yeah. So at this point, Upa's about 15 or 16, and he's probably around 2000 because he's trying to turn Korin, but he's still definitely like not strong Z fighter. Bolchi is actually higher than him at about 8,000. Goten's power level is still pretty high, in the range of about 10,000, so he's barely above Bolchi, but he's 7 years old, still pretty strong. Now, when Gogeta would reunite with Vegito and Nappa, he actually returned from King Kai's planet. He was invited there by King Kai. King Kai knew how strong he was, all that. He thinks he's basically just... He thinks he's cool as shit, basically, and King Yama does too. But with this, eventually, when Gogeta's about to go there, Piccolo's also invited, so Piccolo goes with Gogeta to go to King Kai's planet. And they start to both run across Snake Way. Vegeta does it in a matter of seconds. Piccolo takes like a few minutes, maybe hours, but I'd go minutes. They get there and they'll turn under King Kai, and Gogeta has a natural affinity for everything Goku and Vegeta related. Like he has basically every ability of Vegeta and Goku. When it comes down to like things like Spirit Bomb, he can do that in a matter of like first or second try. He masters it, kind of like Boruto with a Rasengan. Whereas the first second try, he masters it. With Kaioken, he can go absurdly high, to upwards of about 100. And even that's not his limit. It's just what he thinks is only necessary. So, yeah, he's definitely getting stronger very fast, to the point where King Kai is like, I ran out of things to teach you. So Gogeta decides to, teach himself and trains a lot harder, to the point where he's actually going off to different Kais, with Yama's permission, of course. As he goes to different Kais to train, he's met by Pikkon. He's heard that right? Pikkon. So, hold up real quick. So, he finds Pikkon, and Pikkon is like one of the stronger warriors around. Pikkon at this point is probably about equal to full power Frieza, so when it comes down to this, when Gogeta and him train, Gogeta is definitely being outclassed, but even then, Pikkon is still training with Gogeta willingly. And by the time that Gogeta's about to leave, it's because he heard that, Vegeta and Nappa are close to arriving, as Gogeta already pointed out, they're good guys. So with this, when he knows they're about to arrive, he actually would just say goodbye to Pikkon, and at this point he unlocks Super Saiyan because of Pikkon's training. So he flies off to King Yama's entrance. Piccolo was already there waiting for him, and Piccolo had mastered. He mastered a bit of magic because he already had that from Kami. King Kai knows magic as well. He helped Piccolo. Now Piccolo can also do Kaioken's Spirit Bomb. So they expect to send back to Kami's Lookout, and when they head out, they eventually would be met by Vegeta and Nappa, who actually went to the Lookout because once they got their atmosphere, Vegeta could actually sense where most of the powers were. That was basically Kami. So they got their pods, grabbed them midair, and flew over to Kami. They landed, they crushed their scouters, and they talk. When Vegeta and Nappa, when Gogeta and Piccolo appear out of Kami's study where he had teleported them from, they end up kind of reuniting happily. They talk, they have fun, all that. But Vegeta also would be shocked to hear that Gogeta has Super Saiyan now, as he even shows it off. This is a Broly probably has a similar power by now. He trains with someone really strong all the time, being Miras. And Vegeta's kind of shocked that he has contact with Broly, but he actually isn't too surprised at the same time because Broly also left properly. But also Kami look at their pods and introduce him to Ash with the wave of his staff. So, yeah. But now with this, they decided that they might be able to raid the Frieza Force base. But they decided to actually ask Galactic Patrol if they want to help. So with this, Galactic Patrol would eventually be told about this via Jocko, then release the message to them. And Galactic Patrol agrees to send Miras, Broly, and Jocko. And a few other forces just to be waiting. But pause. Okay. So with this, the Frieza Force already knows that Vegeta and Nappa went AWOL. So with this, Gogeta has another idea of baiting up the Frieza Force and all their strongest forces to kill them. And these guys may be wondering, how would they do that? And my idea is kind of weird, but I think it could work. They should bait them out by sending them somewhere where they think it probably isn't going to be considered neutral ground, but somewhere the Frieza Force would not have an advantage. I think that place could be Namek again. Guys are wondering how. Quite literally, Galactic Patrol could, let's say, they accidentally get into the Frieza Force frequency, or leave the frequency open so the Frieza Force can access it. Say, hey, we have these Saiyans heading to Namek for these wish orbs. And then with that, the Frieza Force sends them to Namek. But at this point, Shenron Kami basically used a wish to send them to Namek early, and they basically would warn the Namekians what's going on. With this on Namek, Guru actually doesn't mind this being turned into a battleground after hearing their plan. The plan is basically to use their Dragon Ball, hearing about them, to move the Namekians to a better planet. Guru doesn't mind this, and the warrior Namekians insist on staying behind. But Piccolo has a different idea, saying, what if you all fuse with me? Because he knows about the fusion thing, all of that. Now with this does make them a bit nervous, until Piccolo just says, if you all fuse with me, our might would be more than enough to handle the strongest of these 4 soldiers. Guru tries to forbid it, but Nail just simply tells Guru, this could be to our advantage. But with this, all the warrior Namekians fuse into Piccolo, making him basically a strong version of himself. At this point, he's probably equal to about third form Frieza. Actually, I think Frieza's third form is his final form. Never mind, his third form is the one with the elongated head. Kind of the one that looks like a xenomorph. Piccolo is about as strong as that form, and then if he powers up to his full power, bulking up even, and taking off the weighted clothing, all of that, he's roughly about equal to 60% Frieza. So all these together kind of warm up, scattering across the planet, And the Frieza Force arrives, even like King Cold's here because Frieza's told him like, how strong the Saiyans were. King Cold even knows them. So he arrived, and kind of just waiting, like, he's not waiting, looking around for the Saiyans, wondering, where are they? But then Gogeta and the Z Fighters jump the Frieza Force. Gogeta and Vegeta targeting Frieza, Broly targeting King Cold, old Nappa fighting Ginyu, with Jocko jumping in. Beerus just fights Fodder by using his gun to blast apart ships that easy, because he can't really fight, allowed to. Piccolo has fight Raccoon, Chi-Chi, Gohan, and Oxygen are here, and they fight Kui. Roshi isn't here because he's going to keep an eye on Earth with Kami. So it's basically those three versus Kui. Bolchi fights Zarbon with Yamcha and Puar, because, they found him first. Upa is here as well, and with Tien Chaozu, he fights the Ginyu Force. And then Goten fights Dodoria. So, yeah. Guys may be wondering why these matchups. Why not? I kind of think it's just going to be funny. So, yeah. Now with this, we're going to go on to the first fight. I think we should be covered, being Goten versus Dodoria, as I did that one last. Goten at this point is probably like he's not relative to Dodoria. In fact, he's probably a bit above him, probably even like above the Ginyu Force. I could probably put Goten maybe like about equal to like Jace maybe. But Dodoria is basically being folded by Goten. He tried to catch him off guard, but Goten is simply just too strong, too fast, too durable, all that. When Dodoria's coughing up blood, a bit weakened, Goten has a few small scratches. But he'll charge up one of his father's techniques, that being the final Kamehameha. He would use it, and would basically use it to basically erase Dodoria. Next fight. Upa Tien Chaozu versus Ginyu Force. Upa is actually able to catch him off guard, as first was just Tien and Chaozu, but then Goldo's caught off guard, with his head being severed by Upa from behind. Upa looks how he does traditionally when he's grown up, but he also wields a spear. That's what you guys may be wondering why, because I want a key spear. I want a key spear. And Upa's getting one. So with this one, then Goldo's head is cut off by Upa. Upa pulls out his spear, begins spinning it, and charging ki through it. And he let out a giant ki wave at them that they all try to, avoid. But Tien takes the chance to jump in, and we see elbow drop Birder, who's basically just literally the fastest. So he'll get rid of the fastest one there immediately. Now, really, Birder held his face like, oh my god, my face, you broke it. But immediately he's blasted in the knee by Chaozu, and now his speed is nerfed. But with this one, this led to Piccolo jumping in to attack Raccoon, who he dubbed the strongest. So now he's fighting off Raccoon, and he's basically dogging him. But with this left Birder and just Jace. Just Birder and Jace. Because Goldo is dead. Well, Chaozu and Tien kind of does the tag team, Birder, because he was caught off guard, now he's weakened. And we have Upa struggling to hold off Jace. But when Jace would use one of his key attacks, we end up seeing Upa use his staff to cut it in half, and use a ki wave to actually sever one of Jace's arms. But this, we see Upa basically be dogged by one-armed Jace, but it doesn't really matter, as Upa's able to sustain it until Tien and Chaozu help him, and eventually they're able to kill Jace. Now, this fight probably shouldn't have been their win, but they're able to catch him off guard, as I said before, so, yeah. Then, Bolchi, Yamcha, and Puar versus Zarbon. Next fight. Bolchi arrived, and she kind of feigned as like a damsel in distress. When Zarbon got close enough, she hit him in the throat with the quickest punch ever, sending him sliding back and coughing up blood. But then Puar jumped in, and turned into a pair of scissors, slashing at Zarbon. But the one who jumped over it, though, he's in it with a wolf-like fist to the face. But he landed again, only to be met with a bicycle kick from Bolchi, and then flying through the air. Then Yamcha and her continue to jump him whenever he thinks he's safe. He even transformed, trying to be all lizard-like, but it's just not in his favor whatsoever. And you can just be jumped until there's never a moment's peace for him. That's the way I put it, that there's never a moment's peace. even when he goes into his monstrous form, we just have like, how do I phrase it? Hold up real quick. But once he transforms to his lizardish state or devilish form, he's able to push them both back, even like when we look at this wall, threatening to kill them both. But Tetsu turned into a pair of scissors and immediately cut off the arm holding up Yamcha. Everyone yelled in pain as he was off guard, kind of, so Tetsu pretty easily had a good shot at cutting him in half, or not cutting him in half, cutting off his arm. As he fell back holding his arm, immediately Yamcha would punch him in the chest, making him be sent flying back, and Bolchi would execute Kamehameha, pushing him back, which Yamcha would then join in. And as he's being pushed back, Tetsu would just jump behind him along with Tien and Upa, and they all execute their own attacks, killing Zarbon from behind while he was just being damaged from the front. Zarbon kind of just turned to dust, falls over, dead. Next fight is Ox King Gohan and Chi-Chi versus Kui. As you guys may be wondering why this group, but because they have nothing better to do. Ox King is a strong character, and Chi-Chi trains a lot as a Z fighter now. So Ox King and her are probably some of the stronger Z fighters in my opinion. Probably Ox King, not Chi-Chi, but yeah. Now they're constantly holding off Kui until like someone can actually like finish their fight and come help them, because Kui is just here and he's a strong character. At least for this point in the story. Or was. As I hold him off, we eventually see Krillin jump in, and Krillin would jump in to actually catch Kui off guard with a quick elbow to the jaw. He tumbles back holding his broken jaw, then he's just met with very quick blows from Chi-Chi. Then Ox King would use a devastating attack to punch Kui into the ground, full force, creating a giant crater. But then we end up seeing Krillin jump in from above, and with a quick Kamehameha, concentrated on Kui's face, he is killed. So, yeah. Meanwhile, Piccolo, he pretty quickly dogged Krillin. He's definitely the strongest people here in terms of base forms. So, yeah, Kui's dogged and killed, not Kui, Raccoon is dogged and killed almost immediately. Raccoon can do all he can, sure. Piccolo's just too strong and he dies very quickly. Like 200 punches to the donut, at full power Piccolo would probably kill him. Next fight, Nappa and Jocko versus Ginyu. They run Ginyu, and they end up attacking on both. Nappa at this point is around 70,000, and then Jocko is around 30,000. So they'll combine their relative to Ginyu. Now he just doesn't think Nappa can contend until he's punched in the face, and his head is shot back, or just recoils back. From above, we end up seeing Jocko land an axe kick, sending him flying to the ground. Then double-teaming him, and even then he doesn't survive by switching bodies with them because they're not strong as him in base, so it's a technique he would not use. But as they fight, we end up seeing Nappa flaring his ki, getting even angrier and angrier. Even Jocko's like trying his best, even like getting a little bit bulkier with his ki. But then we end up seeing Ginyu try to launch an attack, afraid to kill Jocko, because he knows it will catch Nappa off guard. But Nappa jumps in the way, taking the attack to the chest, and as he's about to, as about to pierce him, his rage reaches an all-time high, achieving Super Saiyan. The Nappa Super Saiyan form is not enough to beat characters like Frieza, but hold up, yeah, can't beat Frieza. Well, it can beat most forms except his final form. Making Super Saiyan, he would use his quick burst of ki to use a mouth beam and basically vaporize Ginyu. Quickly though, the ki, like in the Super Saiyan form, disperses, and his wound in his chest just gets to him, making him pass out. But Miriam would arrive and quickly heal him with his staff. He's not allowed to fight, he's allowed to heal shit like that, though. So with this, now we go on to Broly versus King Cold. As in base, Broly is relative to mostly full power Final Form Frieza. So with this, King Cold, he's to be met by Broly, and then Frieza just get dogged. Horribly. Like, King Cold tries to go all out immediately, only to be met with a punch to the chest and his armor being shattered. So Broly's just abusing him because he can. Actually, King Cold probably transform, I assume he does, but maybe not, because he's kind of the only anomaly aside from Cooler among his race. So Broly eventually would use an eraser cannon and hit King Cold with it, blowing him up along with like the nearest moon or something of Namek. So King Cold dies almost immediately. Then Frieza versus Gogeta and Vegito. Individually in base, they're relative to like his second, third form. But then Gogeta Super Saiyan, and Vegito is a very arrogant person with a mastery over ki that hardly anyone can achieve. But even if Frieza is like, oh, cool, I have a death beam. He's like, cool, I have a death beam too that directly targets your organs. So yeah, like, but whatever Frieza does is Vegeta matches, and then we have Gogeta and Super Saiyan just dogging him for it. In the fight, though, they're a bit like dirty up, but even then, Frieza was just really no issue for them. But then also revealed they were both kind of wearing weighted clothing, so even then, their bases were nerfed. But that didn't mean much because as a duo, they could pretty easily beat Frieza. So with this, as they're about to leave, we end up seeing Gogeta met by, well, not Vegeta, but basically everyone met by Shinigami. As Nappa's Super Saiyan form already kind of pinged them of like, oh, a strong fighter. Kind of like someone as strong as Frieza, basically. But then Gogeta's Super Saiyan form made them even more aware, as his form had surpassed Frieza a lot, like by a lot. Like, Mirror's being here alone was something, but then seeing these powers around him kind of worried them that maybe their angel had to fight, and he wasn't supposed to. They arrive mainly to check on Mirror, but then Mirror tells them what's going on, and they're very intrigued by everyone around them. Now with this, they do eventually introduce themselves, and they don't offer turning right away, but they're told, like, we're not that far away, Miris or Tommy could bring you to us. If you should ever, require a training for this, like our extreme training. They nod, they bow, they leave. Easy as that. But now, as they're about to leave, King Kai actually told Gogeta, did he see the way that those guys could just appear and leave? Probably just Miris. Just like King Kai and Miris, both of them. Talking to everyone like Gogeta has noticed the way they teleport in and out. Gogeta said, yeah, he realized it. It's kind of cool. And Kai in his head was telling him, there's a planet nearby called Yardrat. If you use one of the ships to fly there, and they'll probably teach you if you can prove you're not evil and you're worth their time. Mirror says the same sentiments, and everyone would head to Yardrat. Well, not everyone, but a few people do. Pause. Okay, so the ones that head to Yardrat, I would say would be Gogeta and Vegeta, obviously, because they need their original body's abilities. Plus, they have infinity for both of the abilities. I don't see Broly needing to go. I can probably assume that Mirror's might teach him a way. I don't see Shin having an ability that Whis does not. I can see Whis having I can see the angels in general having every ability of the gods in their universe. Like Kaioken, probably. Spirit Bomb, probably. Kai, probably. Broly can probably be told by Mirror's, you can go if you want to, I can teach you a similar thing. So, Mirror's would probably teach Broly. Nappa heads to Earth. Jocko heads back to the Galactic Patrol. And then, what else? Piccolo probably heads back to Kami. Chi-Chi has nothing better to do, so Yardrat. Bolchi has to run Capsule Corp. Yamcha has nothing better to do, probably heads to Earth. Upa has to watch over his tribe, so Earth. Krillin turns to Roshi. Kenan Chaozu, Yardrat. Goten, he asked his mom, she said sure, so Yardrat. She homeschools him, so he just gives homeschool vibes to me. Gohan does. So with this, Goten, Tien Chaozu, Chi-Chi, Vegito, and Gogeta, those six head to Yardrat. Broly's just being trained by Miris, because they're both Galactic Patrol agents, and they don't even have time off. Nappa doesn't really care if he gets to Earth again. So, yeah. Now, he did return to New Namek and tell them, hey, Frieza's gone, and he asked them, he has an idea. He doesn't wait here for a little bit, and then he returns to Kami's Lookout. But I'll cover what he does after I cover the training. So, Gogeta and Vegeta. They have an affinity for spirit control, because they're both technically part Goku. That affinity, it doesn't take them long to master spirit control. They Goku 2 years for instant transmission. Cool. Well, they can only do that in less than half the time. Probably around, 6 months maximum. But then the 2 years I can see them learning every ability, but only mastering one. Instant transmission. So, the boat kind of operates like Kai, but you have to you don't even need to have the finger thing, you should need to know where someone's key is, and you just appear there. But with Kai, you can just go anywhere you want to. With Kai, you can go anywhere you want to, and then with instant transmission, you have to go somewhere where you can sense key. they can just do that, but they don't even need to think about it. As long as they know there's ki there, they can just appear there. So like they know there's someone on New Namek. They don't even need to know who they're going to. They just need to know New Namek has ki. They can teleport there, but only basically within their universe. It's not like they can go to Universe 6 with Kai Kai or to the Most Palace with Kai Kai, kind of like how Shin and Kibito can. So yeah. Now, with Chi-Chi, I don't see her basically mastering spirit control. I can see her probably learning basically how to clone herself. I think it's an ability she'd probably use. See, and Chaozu, they both already know spirit control to some degree, so I don't see them. I can see them basically being very similar to Gogeta and Vegeta. They learn spirit control, they don't master anything. They just know every ability to some degree. With Goten, this is no spirit control at all, kind of like Chi-Chi. So you only learn one ability. That one ability, what could it be? Okay, I'm spinning a wheel because I couldn't decide. He learned healing. So Goten learned healing. So, yeah. Now eventually everyone teleports back to Earth, and I'm going to tell you what Piccolo did on planet Namek. Well, first with Kami. He went to the lookout and would tell Kami that he wants to fuse with him. Kami would ask why, and Piccolo just says he wants to be the next Kami. Now he is told to also purge all the evil from his body, but when he does so, well, he doesn't really, like, Kami Dragon Ball's ready as he just purged, like, he basically uses 3 wishes to, 1, purge the evil from Piccolo's body, making him good like Kami is, but then would use a second wish to basically erase that evil being. And it works. Piccolo doesn't die, it's just erased, like he never existed. The third wish is to teleport every Namekian to a lookout, which has crowded a lot, but it's bigger because of Kami's previous upgrades. Kami and Piccolo fuse, Piccolo becomes Kami, and basically uses new power to upgrade the lookout to a level to the point where the lookout is now basically, it's kind of like compared to the size of a football field. They're wondering why it's this big. It's because every Namekian would now live here. That's wondering why. Piccolo basically upgraded the lookout to the point where it's basically its own, not planet, but its own realm. Kind of like how Shin and Kibito have their own Kai realm, the lookout is its own realm now. It basically has everything it would need for a Namekian in one room. There's multiple branches that have their own areas. One area is for training, and that's where the time chamber, food, everything is. Time chamber has its own room in a room. Kind of like a closet. Time chamber is kind of just a closet. One branch goes to where the Namekians live and thrive there. Piccolo would also train with them as they all do their own thing there. Then the rest of it is basically a library, a few other services, all that. What else? Oh yeah. Piccolo gave Dragon Balls to the point where there's only 2 of them now because they're just that strong. But Piccolo carries those 2 of them around, kind of like those kind of just like toys, kind of just like what he just rolls around if he's stressed or something. And they're basically as strong as Chrombo, if not stronger. I'd go probably as strong as him right now. Also makes Piccolo basically one of every kind of Namekian. He's a lord of every warrior Namekian, along with Guru, because Guru's going to die soon. But also he basically knows everything from the Namekian Book of Legends, like memorized in his head now. So that's another thing. Broly, meanwhile, had learned the basics of Kai Kai, but he's only places he's already been to, not just anywhere. He has previously been there. But also go people where he sends their ki. And he's also learned Super Saiyan, as has Nappa and Vegeta. So far, Super Saiyans are Gogeta, Vegeta, Broly, Nappa. Goten has not learned it yet, but he's learning on spirit control. Now, in this one, there is no Trunks. You guys are wondering why. Broly being here is such a big factor to the point where the only threat would be Cell. Broly existing would wipe out the androids. Yeah, sure, heart virus. As I said before, they're not traditional mortals. They probably not get a heart virus. They probably can't be sick. Or even if they could, Goten, healing, heal his heart, easy as that. Or Vegito, healing, easy as that. Miras, healing, easy as that. Dragon Balls. So, they survive, they can kill the androids, their only threat, Cell. And that is years down the line. Even then, Dragon Balls. So, yeah. But During the time that they train, all that, Vegeta kind of misses Pikkon. Pikkon's a good sparring partner, all that. Especially would go back to the realm of Kai, teleporting to King Kai, then flying over with King Yama's permission to go meet Pikkon again. And he tells Pikkon about, what's going on in Land of Living, all that. And she invites Pikkon to train with him in Land of Living. This confuses him until he says, I can probably make a wish for you to be able to visit, like, the area we train in is very limited advanced. I can probably ask our guardian to, have a branch to teleport you to down here. King Yama kind of thinks it's interesting of, like, a button that could just open up a realm between the Lookout and Land of Living, instead of just teleporting all the time. With that issue, Prince Pikkon to go visit Land of Living for a day, decide on his opinion, and then eventually it's agreed. The portal to the Lookout opened up between between King Yama's office and the Lookout, and Pikkon can go through there any time to go back to Land of Living. Or back to Underworld. But he also doesn't look out with Piccolo and the Namekians. And Mr. Popo. But with this, Piccolo would consist of just insist on just training Pikkon, not alone, but most of the time with Pikkon. Because they're kind of relative in terms of power. But I would say we're going to move on to when the androids attack. When the androids attack, it's honestly not a big thing. Is Yamcha still the first one to intercept them? Sure. He's stronger though, much stronger. The point where when Jiro would hit his chest with his just hand, it doesn't go pierce him. In fact, kind of just like his fingernails dig into his chest, and that's about it. Yamcha pulls her hand out and then chops it off. 19 tries to absorb his ki, but by then all the Z fighters had arrived due to Yamcha flaring his ki. They all arrived, including Pikkon. Broly is not here though. Broly is in space with Jocko and Miras. Pause. And at this point, Vegeta has had his son Gotenks. I was wondering why Gogeta doesn't have Gotenks. For sure, canonically, Gotenks' father to like everyone is Vegeta. So yeah. So Vegeta has his son Gotenks with not Bulgy, with her sister Tima. Tima is a fusion between Bulma and Tights. So Tima or Tima. Tima makes more sense because Tights, not T. That kind of sounds weird. Yeah, Tima. So Tima Bulgy, and Tima is the mother of Gotenks. So at this point, Gotenks is like a year old. He's a bit older than canon, kind of like Goten. So yeah, they arrive to save Yamcha, and Vegeta's the first one in the scene to punch 19 far away. Then we have Jiro or 20 immediately flying away to go release androids, as he didn't expect everyone to jump him immediately. Well, he didn't anticipate them being this strong, because in this timeline, everyone fought the Red Army, not just Goku or Gogeta. So the androids are anything if not weaker or a tiny bit stronger, but not much stronger. So at least she's 17 and 18, but by then, immediately not everyone, but they were able to teleport a lot of people over to Jiro's area because it wasn't that hard to do so. So when they arrive, they're met by 17, 18, and 16. Also, King Cold and Frieza are dead, that's why I didn't cover that either. But as it comes down to these guys fighting the androids, yeah, sure, the androids are strong. But in base, they're all relative to characters like Cell. Well, Gogeta and Vegeta and not Nappa, but Piccolo are, and Pikkon. So the androids are kind of just no really effort for them to fight. When Piccolo's commenting on how easy it is to fight them. As when it comes down to 16, his target is probably Gogeta, but maybe Bolshi or Yamcha if you want to be generous. But even then, he's pretty easily trained by Pikkon. Pikkon kind of says that he feels bad about beating up an android. He's kind of just doing what he's told, and they're kind of doing what they want. Plus, Bolshi who's here as well, kind of helping them jump the android. Like, these are kind of doing what they're modeled after. I can probably just make them kind of just reprogram them. Which you can comment on how they're actually fleshy, so they're not really human. We're not really human, not really robots. But that's their immediate thought is these guys are kind of really doing what they want, doing what they're programmed to do. But then Piccolo pulled out the Dragon Ball to get in his pocket, flew off, threw them out, and immediately just used Shenron to kind of revert the androids back to good people. And that works with 16, 17, 18. Or revert them back to a neutral personality. As Shenron's like, 16 is a robot, his personality can just be neutral. 17 and 18, their personalities are very much stale, so they'd be neutral as well. That works. They're now neutral parties. Then, the next wish is basically just erase everything in Dro's lab. Well, after Bolchi takes what she wants from it. After almost done, she takes what she wants, then the lab is erased. Which also erases Cell, so now he's no threat. I have a better person on my mind, honestly. Am I the only person who didn't like Cell as a villain? I kind of thought the whole DNA thing kind of sucked. But, yeah, third wish, I don't know. Restoring lives to Rotok. That easy. So this the androids are now just neutral. They're kind of deprived of Dro's programming. And they're now part of the Z-Fighters. Yay. 16, 17, 18. They're on my list of good guys now. Now we have more training time. Yay. Pause real quick. Now during this time, about 3 movies happen. First movie is going to be... Oh, she only said 3, it's 2. First movie is the Planet of Might movie, or Tree of Might, which honestly does not matter. I can see it being between Goten and Turles instead, as Goten is probably the only one who's on Earth most frequently, like on the ground. Everyone else on the lookout or with their significant others. Goten also goes to school, so yeah. But he goes to do a pretty good one because of who his parents are. But at one point, while he's walking around with the girl he met, Videl, who's a bit younger than him, but they're still pretty good friends, they eventually encounter this man named Turles, who came here to plant the Tree of Might because of just how strong the planet is. They used to fight between Goten and Turles. This because, Turles is the threat to the Earth, and eventually he's able to actually beat Turles. Basically everyone who comes with him as well, because Turles isn't really a big threat. Yeah, I can see Goten handling Turles, but then characters like Nappa or Piccolo or Chi-Chi, or even Upa can probably handle the rest of the guards, as Upa is also a competent warrior, he travels the world. So the Turles to the Crusher Corps is also pretty easily handled, but Goten specifically handles Turles and kills him himself. Then when it comes to the fruit, I can always see Goten eating that to enhance power, and that alone actually will cause him to awaken Super Saiyan, eating this fruit. Or Videl. As this may be wondering, why Videl? Could it kill her? Yes, probably, but to what if, and Videl could be strong, so Videl eats the fruit. She eats the eats the fruit of might, I guess. Videl. Alright. Next movie. But on pause for time, sorry. Okay. The next movie. We start off with Cooler. Cooler is in space after hearing about his brother's defeat, and how basically the Frieza Force entirely was wiped out. Now here, he knows Frieza Force basically has no more remnants, and that's true. There's no one left in the Frieza Force. So with this, Cooler decides to actually train to get stronger, or to actually prepare for this fight he's going to have, because he thinks he needs to restore honor across the galaxy for his family, the Frost Demons. He trains because he knows who likely did it. There's one member of the Control who's very notable as a Saiyan, Broly. He observed him and learned how strong Broly was. So as a conquest to train, he eventually would come across the Big Getti Star. Guess you heard that right? Immediately the story begins on the Big Getti Star. Cooler arrived there thinking it'd be a pretty empty place to train, and that could work for him to train a squad as well, like Salza, Naze, Dore, all that, or Nize. I forgot how that's pronounced. I haven't seen a Cooler movie in a while. But as he trains them on the Big Getti Star with the squad, they eventually go inside and get taken in, or forced taken in by the Star, who begins enhancing their bodies with, metallically. Instead of Cooler basically being like a head who's in the Star, in fact, his entire body gets a chip that can unfortunately help him evolve, but also part of his body turn to steel as it gets destroyed in for a squad. They all have chips that allow them to adapt and grow, but as they get damaged and heal, they eventually would, get metallic bits to replace themselves. Also learn how to heal, get spirit control, all of that, like instant transmission, things like that. So now we get master spirit control. We can also adapt, but also instantaneously heal, and they get replaced with stronger bits as they continuously get destroyed. Now we can't attack Namek because Namek is a whole separate, not even planet, a whole separate realm. It's an endless one too. But let's say they attack Yardrat. And here is where Tien and Chaozu are, as they constantly go back and forth to train on Namek. Here on Namek, they should get ambushed and taken in. Not taken in, too nice. They get abducted. As they get abducted, immediately Gogeta, who have been just out with Goten, talking about the Tree of Might, all that, he sensed 2 keys vanish from Yardrat, and then he senses it's in danger as well. And it's not maybe better the fact that Chaozu also sent a message that reached Gogeta before he was just kind of vanished. Someone's attacking planet Yardrat. Immediately he'd flare his key, the point like there's someone's in danger, and all Z fighters would arrive. Not on Videl, even though she's a future one, but she's kind of just training with Goten now. Goten is she's at school, let's say that. But he basically tells everyone that there's something happening on Yardrat, and even took down Tatsu, Paibara, and Tien. But they already know it's going to be a big threat, so immediately Gogeta would basically just even flares his key up to get Broly's attention, and because this is the planet in the Frieza Force, in the jurisdiction. Once Broly would arrive, he gets told what's happening. He gets Jaco and Miris, and then the first soldiers, and they head to planet Yardrat. They all arrive via teleportation or Dragon Balls. When they arrive, they're met by the big Getti star attached to Yardrat. Metal Cooler walks out, or so far just Cooler. He walks out ready to fight, because he knows this is going to be a good one. Now he first would charge Gogeta, punching him in the chest full force. His eyes bulge up at his chest, but he holds Cooler's fist and meets them with an equally powerful uppercut. But immediately after, Vegeta and Broly jump in, both using a combined kick on the face of Cooler, which actually does break his neck immediately. But his neck then, or his spine in general, turns into metal. They quickly adjust, throwing them both to the side, and then slamming his tail down onto Gogeta. Not knocking him out, but knocking him into kind of the crust of Yardrat. So yeah, that shows how strong he is right now, handling Broly, Vegeta, and Gogeta, who are all very strong. Like, at this point in base, they're already above Cell. Like, I'm talking about full power Super Cell even. Like, if you want to go like base power levels, Gogeta, Vegeta, Broly, Piccolo, Goten, Pikkon, 17, 18, and 19, no 19, and 16, are all roughly in the 3 billion range in base. And there'd be no diffs by Cooler, at least the 3 Saiyans are. But meanwhile, Nappa has to fight Salza, Piccolo has to fight Nez, Pikkon has to fight Dore, and some Cyclopean guards. And then we have Goten fighting guards, Krillin fighting guards, Upa fighting guards, Yamcha fighting guards, Chi-Chi fighting guards. But while Bolchi is here, she's actually raiding the Getti Star. She's a tech genius hoping to rewire the entire planet. She's hoping she can. 16, 17, 18 begins helping her, while Tien and Chaozu are also captured, so they're also looking for them as well. Excuse me. Other Saiyans being trying to fight Cooler, as the Yardrat are told to hit Earth. As Mr. Popo's out on the lookout flaring his key, so the Yardrats can all mission to him, or Paibara can get them to him and back. Or get them to him, before Yardrat keep delivering Yardratians back and forth. So with this, Gogeta, Vegeta, and Broly continue to fight Cooler, continuously destroying him even, but he keeps coming back even more metallic. Same for Salza and Nappa, Piccolo and Nez, and Pikkon and Dore. They keep getting stronger and stronger. The point where Cooler is now fully metallic, and with one Ki Blast, he almost destroyed Yardrat, because that's how powerful the blast was. Broly meeting it with a mouth beam, and pushing Cooler back, seeing him flying away. And the Getti Star's a lot stronger because Cooler's body constantly evolves and trains. The Getti Star's evolution has a much higher range. Kind of like Broly, where they both just evolve mid-combat. Even Miris here is actually taking out guards because there's too many of them. They're destroying citizens. Miris uses his blaster to knock them out, but also finding the key to get them away from him. And Shingon's watching this fight closely because he doesn't want Miras to use his power. He's making sure he doesn't, and Miras knows this. But eventually, Cooler does push Broly into a rampage, because Broly is a bit frustrated, but also worried for his brothers. Broly goes into the form, he's fighting Cooler, and basically ends up turning Cooler into what happened when Broly fought Frieza. But now it turned into Gogeta and Vegeta having to go into Super Saiyan 2 to push back Broly, so he doesn't kill the planet, basically. It's kind of shaking it as Cooler is punched by Broly. But now Cooler's actually okay now after Broly's being pushed back. Eventually his body's now adapting because it has time to adapt to such ferocious force. But immediately, Shingon kind of smirks in this fight and display. Broly's getting stronger continuously, but also so are these mortals, being Gogeta and Vegeta. So actually would appear next to the sun with a single glance. He basically just erases the Cyclopean guard in front of him. And one tap of the staff, immediately everyone's transported to a whole different area, one of Beerus' planets. You guys wondering why? Shingon knows Beerus will get interested in these ones, so if they wake him up, he'll have fun training them, or fighting them, one of the two. We sense this and just kind of watched, and then Shingon would vanish. The fight rages on, not even realizing the shift in the terrain, mainly because they're all focused on Broly or trying to get the big Getti star away from wherever they're at. But eventually, Cooler would adapt to Broly's rampage, and they all continue to have basically a four-way fight. And it's kind of just Gogeta and Vegeta versus these two, who are versus each other as well. But eventually, Broly's overwhelming power would allow him to use another mouth beam that basically erases and vaporizes Cooler's entire body. So Cooler's dead immediately. But he was a good fight. And then immediately, Gogeta and Vegeta also unlock Super Saiyan 3, and they're trying to fight Broly as much as they can. Even trying to calm him down and talk. Meanwhile, Nappa and Salza, they're kind of going blow for blow, as Nappa unlocks his own Super Saiyan 2, while Salza's kind of partially metallic now. But Nappa had an idea, as he had seen what happened to Cooler. He sensed it even. So with this, he knew he should erase Salza entirely. So he actually would punch Salza into the ground over and over again, until Salza's kind of cratered and stuck. When he tries to get up, Nappa would actually jump on him, sit, and then he would basically do his, let's say a giant blast. And that blast would cover him and Salza. Nappa himself is very much weakened, and Salza's body is trying to recover. But Salza's body is trying to rebuild itself. Nappa watches, before letting out a key blast, and then turning Salza to dust. Before he just faints because his body is very badly injured. There's Piccolo versus Naze. Naze is also evolving Piccolo very quickly. Piccolo is easily withstanding him. It's a very in favor of Piccolo fight. Unlike Cooler or Salza, Naze definitely isn't as strong, but also Piccolo is much superior to not the Saiyans or Nappa obviously, and Goten. But Piccolo fights smarter, so he knows how he should fight Naze. Until eventually, Naze's body is fully, metallic, but then he could summon a Block Kakashi and crush Naze. As Naze being selected though, Piccolo summons another one, crushing Naze into the planet, and then will just detonate the entire Block Kakashi, erasing a portion of the planet, but also Naze. And Piccolo's unscathed. He just knew it would be an easier fight to just distract him, or get him to his full power, catch him off guard, and then erase him. It'd be that easy. So Cooler, and Salza, and Naze were killed by basically being reduced to ash. Pycon, he decided to just knock out Dore in one punch. It was just that easy for him. Because Dore was a bit arrogant, only to be met with the right hook from hell, and be knocked out immediately. Meanwhile, with the guards, Pycon is just focusing on them until Dore gets back up with the Jaw of Steel, but Pycon saw other fights and how they went, so one charge of Ki Blast, he just turns Dore to dust. Each fighter is learning how the other ones performed. And now it comes down to Piccolo and Pycon having to go help and fight Broly. Because Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Gogeta are starting to do that. This Broly's much stronger than canon. This Broly's entering, super levels of power. So, yeah. But meanwhile, Chi-Chi, Jaco, Miras, Upa, Krillin, Goten, they're all fighting guards and trying to get them away. There's so many more guards in canon. But these guards are also adapting. Bolchi is inside the big Getti Star, rewiring and taking everything apart. While 16 is getting Tien and Chaozu out of there, who are both very much weakened. Suddenly, 16 is captured by a guard, and his body begins being reworked into the Big Getti Star. But here is where the Dragon Ball's Wish enhanced 16, 17, and 18. They're made neutral. Permanently neutral. There's no evil or good in them. But, because of their favoring towards Z fighters, not the fact that they're good, that they're nice towards them, the fact that they wouldn't pick a side, they would prefer to fight with their friends. It's a preference, not just them picking. So with that very small difference, even while the Getti Star tries to sway them, it won't. All they're doing is enhancing their enemy, and it worked. 16's body is now fully rewired, to the point where, not talking about, like, he's not really even an android or a robot anymore. He has a humanoid body, but now it can constantly just shift and adapt. With that, he also begins basically absorbing energy from the Getti Star. When 17 and 18 suffer the same fate as 16, and instead of resistant suffering, it's an enhancement. They feel it. And they get their old personalities back immediately. 16 means siphoning off power from the Getti Star, turning it off. And with this, Bochi's able to take all she can from the... Okay, sorry about that. But Bochi's able to take all she can from the Getti Star, including a few chips, after she found some. These chips were being made for 16, 17, and 18. But Bochi took them before they're implanted, and then snuck off with them as the Getti Star kind of powered down and began dying. Meanwhile, Beerus had woken up because of Broly's Surge, because it was so close by, and Whis brought him to watch. They also realized that Gogeta and Broly and Vegeta were growing with Broly, getting stronger and stronger. But as Broly was about to let out a burst that would have killed them, Whis would just arrive, and with the type of his staff, he subdues Broly. He grew too strong for the point in the story that they're at. Once Broly passes out, Whis kind of laughed, saying, that was fun to watch. 16, 17 will arrive, if having a bit of enhancements, and 18 just here kind of helping Krillin as she kind of picked up a few robots and threw them to the side. But Beerus talks to them all while wondering who they are. They introduce themselves as Gogeta and Vegeta kind of power down, panting. Like Gogeta's vest is gone, all he's left in is like partially his pants. Partially. They're all kind of exhausted, and Gogeta kind of falls over tired. Gogeta would catch him by his hair and holds him up, but then falls over himself. Beerus introduces himself to them as well. Beerus kind of talks respectfully to Beerus. As they talk, eventually Beerus kind of finds everything amusing. And he decides he's willing to train 3 of them, being Gogeta, Vegeta, and Broly. They're the strongest ones there. And with this, Broly, upon waking up and hearing this, retires from the Galactic Patrol. Amir says as well, telling the Shinkan he wants to train train the warriors that will guard this universe. That Shinkan agrees with this, allowing Beerus to retire and train them. While Jocko, being stronger, is allowed to basically become like kind of the head of the Galactic Patrol, since now there's no one in there stronger than him. At this point, Beerus is he's not like relative to Frieza or anything, but he's definitely like comparable to a few of the forms. Like, Final Form Frieza would kill him, but 50% Frieza would struggle. But Jocko's about that strong. So yeah. And Nappa goes back to Earth. So, yeah. For 16, 17, and 18, they occasionally turn on Beerus because he does acknowledge that they also got power from the Big Getti Star. And Bochi is also occasionally upgrading 16, 17, and 18 as well. Now we go into the Buu Saga. In the Buu Saga, when Shin arrived, he already knew, he's met them before. So when he arrived, he told them about, Buu. And Gogeta said he couldn't, leave because tournament kind of his thing. He's the world's great martial artist for a reason. He's done it every few years. Because, like I said before, he's basically Mr. Satan. Like the wealth and everything. He's basically Mr. Satan. Fame, wealth, all that. So in tournament, he's here with his son Gotan and his girlfriend Videl. Actually, no, Gotan would be like 19, Videl would be like 17. His pupil Videl, who has a crush on him. But for the tournament, Gogeta decides, he's going to stay here, and Piccolo decides he's going to go handle it because he's not in the tournament at all, because he wouldn't be in it. So he decides he's going to go handle it himself. But he did throw the 2 Dragon Balls to 16 who's in the stands watching and tells him, if you have time, do this. And Whis and Beerus are just nearby kind of watching, wondering if they should get involved. So eventually it comes down to Piccolo arriving at, at Babidi's ship, he pretty quickly found Dabura, and Dabura tried to, kill him or turn him to stone. He just dodged, waved his staff, and then took off Dabura's head. It was that easy. With that, single fury, he waved it and basically blasted the entirety of Babidi's ship to pieces. This ended up killing Babidi, Yakon, and Pui Pui. And Shin Kibito aren't surprised. They know how strong this group is, Piccolo especially. They finally found Buu's egg, and the blast its egg a little bit, but Piccolo actually had an idea. Now Shin Kibito actually tell Piccolo yes, I'm like what's special about Buu? What's wrong with him? They talk about Buu and what they know, and then Shin Kibito also include things like not Shin Kibito. Whis and Mirrors include things about the Grand Supreme Kai, all of that. So with this, Piccolo says he has a way he can defuse them, or get them away from Buu, or out of Buu. They just need to wait for one of the non-combatants in the tournament to get ready. It's frustrating Kibito, but they agree. Once it's over, Gogeta arrive wondering what the egg is. Piccolo explains it, and then oh yeah, cool, we can just alright, sure. So with this, Buu's egg is then filled with ki by Piccolo, and once Buu pops out, it's Fat Buu. But Shin immediately would just use Godbind on it, and then Gogeta, Vegito, Tien, Chatsu, and Goten will all have mastered spirit control. It's been years, they all mastered it. They'll be using for spirit vision and separate Buu from Grand Supreme Kai and South Supreme Kai, turning him into Kid Buu. But immediately, Piccolo had already summoned Shenron in case it didn't work, and his thing is just he also that's what he should do. When they're told to kill Kid Buu, Piccolo thinks back to what Shankami had told him about how he was saved by Gogeta, and was told to turn Kid Buu into a good person, or into a nice person, or a nice creature. And Shenron, being young and strong to do so, did just that. Rewiring Kid Buu's mindset, it's not destruction, but just to enjoy a fight. He's kind of just basically a lot like Goku now. Just he can't talk. Guns babbles. Kid Buu realizes they're basically just Kid Buu's basically a big toddler now. One who likes to fight a lot. But he's old now, he's going to get sad and just down pouting. So, yeah. Grand Supreme Kai was confused, but happy to see that Kid Buu was subdued instead of just being killed. Second wish is just told, allow us to understand Kid Buu. That wish worked, they could all understand what his incessant babbling was, and the third wish was just, just do whatever you want. And that wish was kind of just alright, well, how about I just go back to my Dragon Balls, I guess. And, yeah. So with this led to Kid Buu being taken in by the Kais to raise this little feisty toddler. But also with this, they actually asked about since Shenron has third wish available, as he didn't grant it himself, they they talk about the other directional Supreme Kais. Shenron comes back out with Piccolo's command, and the third wish is granted to bring back the other directional Kais. As they have the South Supreme Kai, but then you have the North, West, and East Kais. So they bring those back too. Pretty sure there's actually directional Kais, because there's a South one as well. Pause. So Shin is the East, we have the North, South, and West Supreme Kai. South is in Buu, then the other ones are revived. So, yeah. But with this, all the Kais are revived, and we end up going on into the Super Series. At this point, we end up having Gogeta having his kids, Goten and Barlot. Yes, Barlot. Barlot was in the Buu Saga. He was just doing the junior division. And then his wife is still Bolchi. Vegito has Tima, basically Tights and Bulma, and his son is Gotenks, and he was also in the junior division. And Super, he has a daughter named Brappa. And then we have Broly, who had gotten in with Launch, and they have a son, Karoli. So, yeah. Then Krillin and 18 still have Marin. Then Goten and Videl would still have Pan. But for Beerus, when I'm the Super Saiyan God, it exists. He's been training everyone here for years. So yeah. So with this, we can have Bulma's birthday party. We end up having Beerus already being there because he's friends with everyone here, including Bolchi. So for the I guess for the birthday party, nothing really happens. I have like Kid Buu and Beerus arguing over who gets pudding. But eventually, Whis puts it to an end by telling Kid Buu to wait till more pudding is brought out. And Kid Buu is mad but understands. So with this, for the birthday party, it's pretty easy. And the Super Saiyan God, currently, Gogeta, Vegeta, Nappa, Goten. But also, I should include Barlot, Gotenks, and Karoli. Karoli and Gotenks, not Karoli and Gotenks. Karoli and Gotenks are the same age. Goten is in his 20s, and Barlot is only a year older than Gotenks and Karoli. But they're all roughly in the range of 8 to 10. So, yeah. But so Beerus' birthday party, nothing really happens. And then we go on to there's no Resurrection F, because the Frieza Force is gone, Cooler is gone, his force is gone. So with this, we go on into the Universe 6 saga. Yay. Pause. At this point, when Champa arrives, I can see basically Broly at this point being able to control his legendary form, because he's been training for years. So at this point, Broly can control super form, and Super Saiyan form, and it grows as he fights. There's really no need for God Ki for him. Then Vegeta and Gogeta have unlocked Super Saiyan God and Blue, but also can tap into their own powers. Vegeta with Hakai, and then Gogeta with Ultra Instinct. But also they can tap into the other one's respective powers. They basically do both. Nappa doesn't have God Ki yet, as he doesn't really go to Beerus' planet often, because he's an old man. He prefers to stay on Earth, but he does go to Beerus' planet occasionally. He has God Ki, he doesn't really have a way to use it yet. Jocko's the leader of the Galactic Patrol, and in fact he's a lot stronger now, actually surpassing even Frieza. Yes, you read that right, Jocko had surpassed Frieza. Beerus is still himself, but now he's a full-fledged angel, but with no universe to lead. He helps Whis, as Whis is giving him experience on what it's like to to help a god of destruction. And then Piccolo, he's basically still Kami of Earth, but he's a lot stronger now. In fact, he's kind of like the Dragon Balls are a lot stronger as well, to the point where they're basically only rivaled by the Super Dragon Balls. They're eclipsed by them, but not by much even. Where even the Shingon's contemplating taking Dragon Balls because of how strong they are. But Piccolo and him already talked. They're good. The Dragon Balls are fine. Piccolo's kind of just Zalama. Chi-Chi at this point has also surpassed Frieza, like every human has, including Videl, who ate a fruit of might. Bolchi also has surpassed Frieza, and she also trains a lot with Gotenks, who is her not nephew, but kind of, and then also Goten and Karoli. Or Barlot and Karoli. In terms of his Master Spirit Control, Upa is also just the guardian of Earth, kind of, but in terms of physical might, in terms of physical sense, not just a title. Yamcha and Poor do their own thing, all that. So by the time that Champa and Vados arrive, they end up seeing a Beerus being pushed and almost equaled by, Gogeta and Vegeta, who are both only using Super Saiyan God, not even their highest forms. In their highest forms, individually, they rival Beerus. Champa is constantly surprised when Broly from behind speaks up, telling him, who they are. Oh yeah, I'm Broly, this is Gogeta, this is Vegeta, and Beerus, obviously. Well, I assume so. So with this, Champa talks about his Earth and how, everything is so drab and dying. Or not dying, it's dead. He wants a tournament for their Earth, but immediately he just met with a gut punching and flying back from Broly. And Broly simply just says no. Now, Broly's a bit agitated until Bolchi, who's here, just speaks up because she's visiting her husband. He's like, why don't we just have Piccolo fix it? And immediately, Champa's like, what the hell's a Piccolo? And when it comes down to them being brought to Universe 6, Piccolo sees Earth, calls it kind of a travesty, then summons Shenron, and use Shenron to fix his Earth back to what it was at its prime state. And that wasn't really a big prime state. It didn't last long. So they brought it up to the peak of his evolution, or the possible peak of his evolution, which worked, and the third wish is to bring them back to Beerus' planet, and it worked. Trump was happy and thankful, and then battle the Beerus for Piccolo. So there's no Universe 6 tournament, but Gogeta and Vegeta and Broly are all wondering, on Nappa, if there's a planet Vegeta or planet Sadala. And Vados confirms the planet Sadala. So thank you, they're brought to planet Sadala, with Champa and Vados explaining who they are, and how they're Saiyans from another universe. They meet the king, they meet basically every warrior, and they end up talking for a bit, kind of bonding with them. As they were all on Vegeta, they knew the planet. As they talk, they're pretty happy to learn about Sadala, and how they're not really bad warriors or bad people. But a few warriors catch their eye. Kale, Khalifa, and Kaba. This does concern the king and wondering, what's interesting about them. But they all end up saying in unison, I want to train them. Nappa's just too old and says, I'm just going to head back to my universe. It was just good to see this. But with this, eventually ends up with Kale, Khalifa, and Kaba being trained by Gogeta, Vegito, and Kale. Not Kale, Broly. Because they have an interest in them. Broly can sense what he has in Kale, and then Vegito can sense the potential in Kaba, and Gogeta saw the flare in Khalifa's eyes. So after a bit of training and just a bit of just helping them get Super Saiyan in 1 through 3, while Kale learns to control her Berserker state, Champa decides to take over from here and bring them all to his planet to train them. And then eventually Daishingan saw the rise of strong warriors and thought about a tournament. So this one is Daishingan's own idea. And Zamasu, well, he interrupted his planning for the tournament by taking a body of someone. The body of Broly. I was wondering why Broly? Because Broly has had the better power display in terms of the past and now. So he can rival Gogeta and Vegito, who can rival Beerus. But only if they work together. While Broly can rival them both. Zamasu is aware of their higher forms. So he ends up taking Broly's body while then using himself. The whole thing kind of kicks off with Broly Black. But Broly turns into Broly Black on Beerus' planet. Beerus sees him fighting Broly Black, only to realize, Broly Black realizes he can't control Broly's power, and it takes a lot of effort to do so. Broly Black is almost immediately killed by Beerus, so Zamasu is all on his own from the start now, because Broly Black died immediately. Again, Zamasu, who's immortal, trying to do his own thing, it does not work. It just results in a lot of hands being thrown, and then Zamasu being held back and, kind of at the mercy of everyone around him. And then Beerus would just Hakai him. And they end up reviving Goasu, who gets a new Kai apprentice. So, yeah, easy as that. But now the tournament kicks off. Yay. Pause. Okay, so Tournament of Power begins first with the God of Destruction exposition tournament. When that happens, Beerus, being stronger than canon now because of just how much she trains with stronger characters, completely and utterly destroys every destroyer near him. They're not really a threat to him. Gogeta is the only one who's close in canon. Now he easily beats Gogeta with 3-4 punches. It wasn't that hard to him. And then immediately when it comes down to just by the end of it, he's a bit battered, sure, but he still won. Every other God is knocked out at his feet while he's like someone for panting, but he does a thumbs up, meaning he's still awake and he's fine. So he's the strongest God confirmed now. And then when the tournament beginning, the tournament begins, Universe 7 seems to kind of just be kind of just relaxed. By the way, the team consists of Gogeta, Vegito, Broly, Nappa, Jocko, Goten, Pikkon, 16, 17, 18. Guess Jocko is here. Piccolo isn't just because he doesn't want to be. Doesn't want to, kind of thinks it's stupid. That kind of goes for the rest of everyone else. Well, Bardock, Goten, and Karoli are just too young. Everyone else kind of just stupid. Well, Yamcha wanted to go, but Jocko kind of punched him in the face to go instead. So, yeah. But pause real quick. Okay. So when the ring gun seemed tense, and because of how intense Universe 7 and 11 seemed, mainly Broly kind of just said out loud, "Are none of you going to make a move?" Toko spoke up, saying, Why should we?" Broly just kind of his head back and said, "Then allow me." With a single yell and a mouth beam, he covered the entirety of the ring. Other universes put on Ki Blast to push it back, but Broly's attack seemed unrelenting. But the thing is, the moment he stopped, there was dust in the air, and Universe 7 had vanished. Then we see a barrage of just clashes. Gogeta and Jiren, Toppo and Vegeta, who Broly clash with nobodies. Nappa slammed in the middle of the Pride Troopers, Jocko clashed with Frost, Gohan versus Hit, and a few other fights. But now we go on to a few other more interesting fights. I'm going to start from the bottom of my list to the top. First is 18 versus Universe 2. You heard that right? All of Universe 2. That's Brienne. I should get a list of it. Brienne, then Kakunsa, Rosie, Zarbuto, Rabnara, Jumizu, Bakal, Zerloin, Prum, and Harmira. As fight goes on, Bakal seems to seem like a threat because she can fly, then Jumizu can teleport, all that. 18, with the adaptation of the Big Getti Star, is particularly adaptable for these fighters, being able to pretty easily jump over them and evade mid-air when it comes to flight or teleportation. Recall with 2 quick blasts, the wings are gone, and then she's kicked out of bounds that easy. You should teleport only for 18 to pretty easily know how information works because there's so many people who use it in their universe. Not that it worked, 18 would immediately appear in front of him and punch him right in the face, knocking him out on impact. Not in the ring, he just knocked out in the ring and she throws him out of bounds. Prum can, sure, reflect blasts. 18 usually blows apart the entire part of the ring he's standing on, and he falls through it. She can do that. She's just that strong with Ki. Which does shock that, she can pretty casually blast through Kashin. Zerloin is just met with a kick to the face and launched out of bounds. And the same for Rabnara and this is Zarbuto. But Rosie, Ikokunsa, and Brienne tried to tag team 18. They tried to. But immediately she would just jump out of the way, and with one well-placed kick, they're all kicked in one move and sent flying. As they're all in the air, she would just do a giant Ki Blast, and while flying into the stands. Like they hit the stands instead of bounds, so they're kind of just left there. 18 just winks at them and walks away, and Ruby enters to call out to her saying, "Hey, ugly," but 18 doesn't even look at her. She looks around like, who are you talking to? But when Ruby enters not getting a response, she just sighs, and kind of annoyed at that as well. And then next up is 17 versus Universe 9. Now, Universe 9 has his god of destruction is Sidra, but it has Basil, Lavender, Bergamo, Roselle, Oregano, Hyssop, Chapel, Sorrel, Hop, Comfrey. So the trio Danger and Fodder. When Basil tries to, use his the kick, he kicks the ball to Ki. 17 kicks it right back at him at double the power, and it basically just ends up knocking him out of the ring on impact. Lavender tries to poison him, or just put poison in his eyes, but 18 or 17 just says that no, he's not really a human, his eyes aren't really affected by that. He grabs out of Lavender's hands and just crushes them, and then kicks him out of bounds. Then Bergamo and him try to fighting, Bergamo's getting bigger with each punch. So with that, 17 just says, "Alright, you can take my basic punches." Well, so Smirk's only be punching in full plexus, full force by 17, and he just slumps over his fist. Just slumps over it. 17 picks him up and carefully lays him out of bounds. He falls out and gets put into the stand, still unconscious. Then Roselle, Oregano, Hyssop, all of them, they're just put in one giant barrier. Then we've been compressing all of them until they all just yell, "We forfeit." And with that, they're all transported out of bounds by Daishinkan. Next up is 16 versus Universe 3. Now, they all do go into Enilaza immediately as he confronts them and flares his Ki. But, not all of them, it's most of them, and then I think, maybe 2 outsiders. I think it's, Priscio and Paparoni who don't go into Enilaza. Wait, no. It's Magi Kaio, Ketopestra, and Paparoni who don't go into Enilaza. But even then, when Ketopestra tries to, confront 16, saying, "Oh, evildoer, you not allow my universe to be erased." 16 just does one well-placed punch and sends him flying across the arena out of bounds. That was just the end of the fight right then and there. Majikayo just met with a Ki Blast from 16 that sends him flying as well. And Paparoni tries to hide behind Enilaza. When the 16 jumps in the air, he began punching Enilaza until being pushed out of bounds with each punch. But with a final just loud ki and then a giant blast, it shoves him out of bounds in one move. And then a surprise, I know that 16 did that pretty easily, until 16 just reveals he's a robot himself, so it wasn't that hard to, dent one. Which is just surprise pepperoni that says 16 is a robot. Next up is Pycon versus Kefla, who started out the fight immediately using Potara because they needed to be as strong as possible. When that Pycon found them, though, they clashed fists, and Kefla realized that their fists almost broke upon hitting Pycons. But then Pycon flipped, kicking Kefla in the face and then flying back. This fight ended up basically going in for a blow-for-blow fight, and Pycon began being pushed back a bit till he powered up to his maximum, even using Kaioken, which Piccolo had taught him, because Piccolo doesn't know it, as I said before. So with this, he powered up into Kaioken times 10, and one well-placed punch had punched Kefla clean through a lot of Kachin that was just scattered around. And then with that, Kefla would be forced to defuse until he just kept Khalifa, which he would get them by them both by their legs and forcibly pull them out of bounds. Like he pulls them over the edge of the ring and throws them out. He depowers, panting a little bit as he has like a living body, but well, actually no, he doesn't. I said that differently earlier. My bad. But yeah, so Pycon just kind of forcibly threw out Kion Khalifa once they detransformed. And Goten fights Hit. In base, Goten can pretty easily, effortlessly escape Hit's time skip. It's not that hard for him to do. Because 1, in Goten's life, he balances training and studying. 2, even training most of his life by will. 3, the Dale who had eaten the Fruit of Might trains with Goten a lot. I mean a lot. In bed and in the ring. But with that, they're both basically just constantly training where Goten doesn't really train. Like, there's not a day where he does not train. Kind of how canonical Goku is. So in base, his time skip simply does not work because he can react to it. Where Hit being evolving in it does not matter. Hit is simply just confronted with the harsh truth that Goten is just too strong for him, even in base. And go on power to Super Saiyan, that was more than enough to simply just wipe out Hit. It was just that easy for him. So yeah, it was just Super Saiyan that was enough to wipe out Hit for Goten. Jocko versus Frost. Jocko's very similar transformation. This one to Roshi, where he can just buff up, and he has a superior strength and everything increase. Plus, he turned to mirror some Broly for a long time, so he's also very strong naturally. But when Frost began poisoning Jocko's like parts of Jocko's skin, they're kind of like covered by like this little. Hold up, let me show you. Like, I don't know why, but I forgot the word for gloves. When Frost's needle hit Jocko's gloves, Jocko pretty quickly got what Frost was trying to do to him with the poison. So that changed the tide of the fight for them. Alright, pause. So, Jocko pretty easily able to realize that Frost was trying to poison him with, the glove. Not the glove, the needle, but it hit the glove first. But then when Frost realized that he was caught, Jocko grabbed his arm and immediately just punched it as hard as he can, shattering it. Frost in pain only met with uppercuts and flying into the giant pillar that was counting the countdown, but Jocko would jump up to him and be wailing on him as much as he can until Frost was knocked out. They both fell to the ground, panting, with Jocko basically being too tired to move, and Frost being knocked out. Pycon walked over, helping Jocko up, and then Jocko would kick Frost out of bounds, cheering for himself. But then from behind the key blast would knock Jocko out of bounds. The Pycon just turned around to a single finger blast, and then Wyatt wiped out whatever fodder universe hit them. Now, Nappa fights the Pride Troopers. I mean, all of the Pride Troopers. Well, not like 2 of them, but still. Well, 3 of them, actually. But still. So, yeah. But, I need to write this down. Alright. So Nappa fights against, Veywan, Kinsey, Tupper, Zore, Coquette, Kettle, and Casserole. Casserole's got the scouter, Kettle has the buggy head, Coquette's the girl, Zore has the 2 horns, Tupper's got heavier, Kinsey is like the buff elf thing, and Veywan has the head of a dinosaur. Now, Tupper tries to jump on Nappa and weigh him down, but Nappa just laughs, saying, Planet Vegetta's gravity is heavier than this. He grabbed Tupper by the head, yanked him forward, and basically began squeezing his head. Zorei and Kinsey tried to pull their own tactics against him, because Kinsey, I believe, can use the ki wire, and Zorei is just fast. But Nappa flared his ki, forward launching out 2 fingers upwards. Hold up. And make sure I get this technique name right. Nappa. Let me find the the name of the technique. I want to get it right. Hold up. Volcano explosion. Okay, it's called volcano explosion. I thought it was volcanic. He uses volcano explosion, and immediately it catches the majority of the Pride Troopers in the blast. It doesn't kill them, but they're all just knocked back, and Tupper is just clearly shot out of bounds. So is Zorei. Kinsey tries to recover, only met the gut punch from Super Saiyan 3 Nappa, and he would just cough up blood and faint on Nappa's fist. Nappa grabbed him by the leg and threw him at Gogeta. He tried to duck, only met with a knee right as she ducked in the way of Nappa, right in the way of Kinsey. As Kinsey's thrown at her, she ducks, and she ducked right in Nappa's knee to the face. She went flying out of bounds as well with Kinsey, and Kettle and Castle try to back up slowly, but Nappa lets out a mouth beam, and they're both caught in it, being launched out of bounds. And he just calls them idiots. Like, oh, you idiots are too weak to ever handle me. And then Broly fights Dispo in other universes. So let's say like Universe 4 or something. Universe 4 and Dispo. If Broly's like in the middle of slaughtering Universe 4 by himself, Dispo jumps in, but the one that Dispo would kick Broly in the face. Broly pretty easily just took it and just grabbed Dispo and slammed him on the ground full force. And when Dispo realized he was grabbed and the slam is executed, all everyone sees a giant shockwave and Dispo's in the ground in the Yamcha pose. When they're a loud yell, and that Ki alone shot everyone from Universe 4 out of bounds. And it was just that easy to him. It really isn't really no major fights on his own. Like Universe 10, let's say they jumped in the way of Vegeta versus Topo, which didn't last long. Base Vegeta was enough for full power Topo. But even then, when Vegeta finished beating Topo, it led to Universe 10 jumping in, but some Ki blast from Vegeta has them all flying out of bounds. So yeah, only remember Universe 4, or Universe, not Universe 4, only remember Universe 10, not 7. Remember Universe 7 that was wiped out? Was Jocko. And also, that's because he's already exhausted and got caught off guard. But yeah, so Vegeta's fighting Topo, but also Kaba. So it's fights Kaba. Kaba at this point started using Super Saiyan Blue and God because he achieved it early. In fact, he was training with Champa and Vados, along with Kalipa, but they didn't have time to use it in Kefla. Well, Kaba's definitely putting up a good fight, sure. Vegeta didn't really care how hard he was trying, he just knew he was too weak to have a good fight to him. So he would frequently use an Atomic Buster on Kaba, and then he would use a Banshee Blast on Topo, sending him flying back. As Topo's on the edge of the ring, he's met with a Spirit Cannon, and that would end up knocking him out and out of bounds. Kaba is just knocked out from the Atomic Buster, but that you end up seeing Vegeta pick him up and just drop him out of bounds peacefully. Meanwhile, with Gogeta and Jiren, they're going blow for blow, punch for punch, while Gogeta's still in base form, and Jiren isn't going all out yet, but he's definitely above his base state. Gogeta smirked and asked, "Do you want to see my full power?" And Jiren says, "Sure, why not?" Jiren powered to his full power as well, but then when Gogeta's aura had cleared after he went into his full power, they saw the top of his head had a clear line of purple, and then his sides were all white. His aura flared between white and purple. And eventually kind of mixing into a pale purplish color, a very pale purple color. Vegeta called him a bastard for using that form early, because Vegeta isn't able to tap into it yet. Now Jiren is backing up slowly because he realizes how strong this form is, but then one quick punch to the chest, immediately Jiren coughs up blood. And immediately we end up seeing Vegeta rotate as he punched, and land a kick to Jiren's neck, sending him flying back. But then Vegeta will charge up one Kamehameha, charging it up with Destroyer Ki. Jiren tries to match his own blast, but then the attack would cancel halfway through. Vegeta ran at him, and then ends up using his Stardust Fall technique. He uses it on Jiren, able to withstand it, but then as he's being knocked out, he's pushed out of bounds, and that ends the fight. Universe 7 had won with only one casualty, or one loss, being Jocko. But Jocko at this point had already recovered fully, so he was fine. And the MVP in this one, who could it be? Probably Broly, the one who took on 2 universes in Dispo. So, yeah. Well, not 2 universes, but probably Broly. So, Broly ends up making a wish to restore the universes, and then Super Saiyan would grant the wish. So, yeah. Now we go on to the Moro saga. Thing is, when Moro would break out, they literally just, the Kais just send Kid Buu. Jocko boarded on it, then immediately the Kais already knew. So they sent Kid Buu to fight Moro, as Moro's being worn down by Kid Buu. He does try to drain Kid Buu, it just does not work because Kid Buu continues to grow stronger as he fights. That's what he does now. He's trained properly and his power is fully unlocked. There's an well of power versus Moro. And Moro's being pushed back to eventually he'll be able to beat Kid Buu. But by the time he does that, though, every directional Kai had arrived, and Moro is resealed. But Beerus was also just allowed to arrive, and they kind of ask him to, just Hakai Moro, and he does. But the Moro saga didn't really involve the Z Fighters, just Kid Buu. And then we go on to the Granola saga. But when he has to be strong in the universe, he has to take into account Gogeta, Vegito, Broly, Nappa, Jocko. Not Jocko, but Gogeta, Vegito, Broly, Nappa, Piccolo, Goton, Bardock, Gotenks, Karoli, Pikkon, 16, 17, 18, Kid Buu. All that. By the way, he does know Broly. He's aware that the Saiyans are good guys now. He met Broly a few times on a few missions, literally major encounters, but he's aware Saiyans have changed. He just wants to be so strong to the point where we can rival someone like Broly, who even echoes in the universe as for his strength. But when he tries to ask, immediately Trumbo just says, "You will die if I grant this wish. You are just not strong enough to achieve. You will not live long enough to achieve the power they have." Granola's jaw just drops upon hearing that, and Trumbo goes back to the Dragon Balls. But now Granola decides to seek out Broly, as he's met him a few times, and asks him to train him. He doesn't find Broly, who's just visiting Earth for a little bit. Broly's like, "Sure, I guess, if you want to." So Broly decides to train Granola. Meanwhile, the Heaters find the Dragon Balls, and we have Gas, not Gas, we have Alec, who would ask Trumbo to make Gas run in the universe. Trumbo, not wanting to explain the wish again, would do so, and as Gas feels the power, immediately his body begins deteriorating. As he looks at his siblings, his eyes pop out, his arm falls off, and his body begins basically just turning, and enters a state of immediate necrosis. Immediately, Alec asks the dragon what happened, and Trumbo answers, "There's too many strong people in the universe for his body to contain a level of power. Only 2 people could withstand this wish. And those 2 people are Gogeta and Vegito. Because they basically live forever. But they're not traditional mortals. Well, they live forever, but they live for millions of years. They age over time, but it would take them millions of years to look old. They're look 20 for millions of years. Bolchi could withstand the wish, but it would take 1,000 years off her lifespan. Same for Goton, Bardock, Gotenks, and Karoli. It would take thousands of years off each of their lifespans for their tens of thousands. But yeah. And we have the superhero movie, but honestly, the Red Army was taken out in 4 different directions by Gogeta, Bolchi, Yamcha, and yeah, that fight, or 3 different directions. But even then, this would probably not be a movie. The Red Army is basically just gone. It's not really the movie doesn't exist. There's no Cell Max. The Gammas are replaced by our beloved 16, who can beat them both in about 2 hits. So yeah. But with this, I end this part here, or not part, this movie here. I hope you guys enjoy. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.